What's going on, guys? It's your boy Scrub here, back again with another video. Hope you guys are having a great day. I know I am. And today, as y'all can tell from the title, I've got a crazy story time about a time a teacher broke this kid's nose. It's definitely entertaining, something that I figured y'all would enjoy, so let's make a video about it. But before we get into it, be sure to press the like button. Otherwise, no joke, no scam whatsoever. Your teacher's gonna break your nose, and if you're out of school, well, then your teacher from second grade's gonna find you and break your nose. So, you know, press the like button, and without further ado, let's get into it.
Get quiet now, lay low when you reach zone, wiping down, making out, stack the bread, cause
Alright guys, so as I said, this is a story time from my time in elementary school where a teacher ended up breaking up this kid's nose. Not breaking up, broke the kid's nose. Completely different. It was definitely interesting though, and it's one of those things that sticks with me because it's not every day you see a teacher just whoop-ah, just destroy a kid's nose. I'm pretty sure that every elementary school had a game that was like all the rage for them, like that every kid would play at recess. It was like a big deal, you know, if you were good at it, you were one of the popular kids, and some schools had tag, but at my elementary school for this year, it was kickball. I'm talking most kids would be chilling out there playing, trying to play, or like watching kickball. It was just the thing that people did at our elementary school for some reason. And because of that, because people were always trying to play, it was a big deal if you were picked first in kickball. And kids are mean, so there was a group of kids that always got picked last. And, you know, it wasn't necessarily nice because it's elementary school and kids are just kind of mean to each other. And the teachers, after seeing this for a while, decided to intervene and, like, do something about the fact that there was a group of kids getting picked last, you know, and they were going to do a game where they were team captains and they were going to pick all the kids who get picked last first. And I'm not going to make fun of that. It's probably a good thing to, like, not make elementary schoolers feel horrible about being bad at kickball, so whatever. There's nothing wrong with that. And one of the teachers that is going to be team captain of one of these teams is named Mr. Jones. And Mr. Jones was a really popular teacher at our school, dude. Like, all the kids loved him. Everybody thought that he was the coolest teacher. He knew a lot about Star Wars. He was, like, very outgoing and energetic. So when everybody found out that he was going to be a captain of one of the teams, obviously everybody was hyped. And the other captain was another popular teacher, but it doesn't really matter to the story. The only person you got to know is Mr. Jones. And, you know, anyways, the game gets going, and the teachers are picking the kids, and of course, they pick all the kids that don't get picked usually. They pick them first, and they're really excited. Everybody's excited, you know. They kind of get their point across about how it's kind of mean to make fun of people for being picked last in kickball, guys. And, like, we had the Sesame Street elementary school moment where we're like, oh, okay, you know, like, in their mind, that's what happened. But whatever, we all kind of get the idea of what's going on, how we had kind of been mean and the teachers were going to pick them first. So whatever, the teams get picked, and the way the kicking order was set up was that the teachers were going to kick last. And usually because the teams that were playing were like the most athletic kids in the school, I guess, the innings would take a little bit. So if you were last in the kicking order, you probably weren't going to get a chance to kick at kickball that day. So the teachers were going last, and they're like, all right, this will be good. We won't actually have to play. All the kids will get to play. And we won't actually have to do anything. Well, obviously, because they had picked all the kids who, you know, usually didn't play or got picked last first, they weren't necessarily great at kickball. I'll just be honest, they sucked. You know, no offense to them, this was a long time ago, but there was a reason they were not getting picked for kickball. You know, it wasn't because we just thought they smelt bad, it was because they couldn't kick a ball. So naturally, the line goes pretty quick. Like, instead of it taking a while to get through kickers, they just kind of end up blowing through them to the point where the teachers have to go pretty quick. And so it's probably about the third inning, halfway through lunch, and it's up to Mr. Jones, and Mr. Jones is about to kick. And all the kids are extremely hyped up. As I said, it was normal for, like, kids to watch the kickball game. And now that a popular teacher was playing and people were going to be, like, you know, on the line to see their teachers play, everybody's paying attention. And obviously, when it's his turn to kick, everyone wants to see what he's capable of. At the time, it's a very big deal how good you are at kickball, all right? Do we think a teacher's cool that can't even play kickball right? That simply cannot be. No, no, no. So we have to judge his skill and ridicule him if he's not good enough at kickball. So all the kids are sitting there and they're staring, and I'm sure Mr. Jones felt the pressure because he kind of pointed to the outfield as if he was going to kick the ball really far, right? And everybody's kind of like, oh my gosh, he's going to kick it so far, this is going to be so awesome. And everyone was already excited. And so he points and he looks to the pitcher and he gives him a thumbs up. And the person who was pitching the ball or just rolling it towards the kicker was this kid, Marshall. And Marshall was a really nice kid. You know, he was great at Pokemon, not necessarily athletic. But he gets the thumbs up from Mr. Jones, and he looks like he's having the time of his life, dude. As if pitching in this kickball game was the only thing he needed to cross off his list to just live the happiest existence possible. His smile is huge. And so, you know, everybody's like, all right, here we go. And they break apart, and Marshall goes, and he starts to roll the ball, and it's slowly going towards Mr. Jones. And finally, it gets there, and he goes to kick it. All right, guys, I'm going to interrupt the video for just 1 second. If you take a look at your screen now, you'll see a PlayStation gift card. For those of you that don't know, I give away a gift card in every single video I post here on the channel as a way to say thank you to you guys for subscribing and turning on those notifications. So if you haven't yet, you should. And yeah, I'd appreciate it. I'll shut up and get back to the video now. Thanks. Anyways, Mr. Jones kicks this ball, dude, and it just goes flying, man. You just hear it, like the wrath of Jesus himself, just boom, and the ball just goes flying. And instead of going up like a kickball does, it just kind of does a line drive with just enough air where it's slowly rising. We're like a plane taking off type of motion, right? And it's flying right into Marshall's face. And it is a kickball, so you know, it's not crazy hard, but it's still enough where you hear it hit his face, and you hear a crunch, and then you hear the noise of like a ball hitting someone's head, a kickball, like the boing, but it's like crunch boing, you know, as the ball bounces away. And he immediately starts screaming and just grabs his nose, right? And all of the kids that are watching this, we literally just freeze. We don't know what to do. We don't know whether to be like, yeah, or like, no, if we're supposed to do anything. Nobody knows what just happened. He's yelling, and Mr. Jones runs up to him. And when he runs up to him, he tries to cover him so that way, like, we can't see him. He doesn't do a very good job, and we see that there's like blood coming from Marshall's hands. And so somebody screams, oh my God, he's bleeding. And because we're in elementary school and we're, you know, young, everybody just starts freaking out that he's bleeding. Oh my gosh, oh what? Oh no, the teacher made someone bleed, he broke his nose. Someone starts screaming, Mr. Jones killed Marshall. Mr. Jones killed Marshall. Another kid is standing there while kids are running around him, and he's just like, the world's ending. The world is ending. Obviously, we're being way too dramatic. It's not that big of a deal, but we're all just running around freaking out. And at that point in all the chaos, I'm sure Marshall is freaking out more, and maybe he had realized that like his nose is broken. Because Mr. Jones kind of scoops Marshall up and starts to run him into the school, right? And so he's running with Marshall. And I don't know which one of us thought this first or thought this was a good idea, but someone in this like mob of very worked up elementary school kids goes, he's taking him, chase him. And so Mr. Jones is running like around the portables we had into this entrance so he can get him to the nurse's office, probably just away from here. And so he's running, and he's faster than us because he's an adult with adult legs. But, like, we all start chasing him. And when I say all of us, it's probably a horde of 70 to 100 kids. I can't give you an exact number. But enough that when Mr. Jones looks back, I remember just seeing the fear in his eyes as he realizes there's a literal horde of zombies chasing him down. Like 100 people sprinting after him, thinking that he just killed some kid with a kickball. And of course he's not dead. Like, you know, obviously now as an adult, I can be like, this is insane. I don't know why we did this. But in the moment, elementary school us was so passionately chasing him down because of something happened in kickball. I like literally don't know how we got so wrapped up in it. It's the definition of mob mentality, you know. So finally, Mr. Jones gets through the door before we get him with Marshall. They go to the nurse's office. A bunch of other teachers meet us in the hallway, like push us back out there, and, you know, they settle us down. None of us really got in trouble just because so many people had done it, and it was like such a rare situation that they didn't really know what to do. They told us, obviously, you don't ever like chase somebody when they're going to the nurse's office, just really obvious stuff. But they didn't really know what to do. As for Marshall, he ended up coming back to school 2 days later with a broken nose. You know, he had broken his nose as soon as the ball had smashed into his face. Mr. Jones didn't get in trouble because it was genuinely an accident. He was a good teacher, and I guess once they explained to Marshall's parents what had gone on, they didn't want him to get fired or anything. But for the rest of the year, I remember he was so much less outgoing. He just felt so bad about it. Anytime he saw Marshall, he would buy him a snack from the little store we had in the lunchroom. He genuinely felt horrible about it, but I will just never forget the anger that our little horde of elementary school students felt when we were chasing him down to be like, "You hurt our friend!" And we didn't even know him that well. I knew Marshall a little bit, but it wasn't like he was my best friend or anything. I was just kind of wrapped up in the moment. It is what it is. Regardless, guys, I think that's going to do it for the video. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, I'd really appreciate you taking a second to press the like button. Let me know in the comments section down below what you thought. And of course, subscribe if you're new and turn on those notifications. If you really want to help me out, you can check out a link to the intro song in the description down below, along with the link to my podcast, The Scuffed Cast. Or you could use code SCRUBBY at the G Fuel checkout. Those are all great ways to help out the channel and help me out. And last but certainly not least, if you take a look at your calendar, it's October, which means Halloween's approaching, and you can get yourself the Halloween merch that's on your screen now. Pretty fantastic, pretty cool from the description below. It's the top link there, so go check it out and get yourself some. But yeah, on that note, guys, that's going to do it. Don't get anyone pregnant. If you do, make sure they're hot, and hopefully I will see each and every single one of you guys next time with another video. I'm out. Peace.